using my expert powers of deduction here based on the fact that there's this big chunky groove missing and that screamer bar is broken off, and the fact that also I can just basically move that pad around in there because it's all the way out of the guide here. This side's probably bad. Hello everybody. Today we are out here in the driveway. Nah, you can't see me. Today we're out here in the driveway working on this 2016 Sentra. Belongs to a friend, co-worker of mine, Sabrina. She said, I need brakes. The passenger side is really bad. It's making noise, like a squealing sound. And when I drove it, it sounded like it was metal on metal. So I'm going to go ahead and do pads and one rotor, because the rotor on the other side is torched. The screamer bar has dug into it. And this side, the pads are shot. I think I got this side. I may go ahead and replace both rotors. Today I'm just going to do pads and one rotor, and I may tell her, next week or so I will do the other rotor. But I'm going to tell you how to do this. This should be a very straightforward job. The first thing I've done is obviously I've got the car up in the air, a jack stand under it. It's a 21mm socket on the lug nuts. The good thing here is you can go to the subframe all the way behind the engine and jack it up. Put your jack stand right there, and we'll get one put on the other side. Like I said, it's 21s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some PB Blaster, spray this bolt and these bolts, and I'm going to find my grease and some sockets, and we'll start busting this bad boy apart. Real quick, I will go over the tools you will need and the parts you will need. Obviously, you will need pads. I got these at O'Reilly. There's the part number if you need it. These are the Brake Best Select Ceramic. You will need a new rotor. This is the one I got from Napa, Proformer 248881470. Some websites list different diameters. According to Napa, they only have one part, but like O'Reilly and I think Advance listed two different ones, like a 272 and a 290mm or something. It says some of them for two-door Sentras. I've never seen a two-door Sentra in America, except like the 90s, and they were labeled as like 200SXs. It was different. You will need a 14mm and a 19mm socket or box wrench. 14 is for these bolts, 19 is for those. If you plan on replacing the hardware, you'll need a flathead. It'll make it easy to get those out. You will need some way, a caliper tool or a C-clamp to compress this. Obviously a jack and jack stands, duh. It's a 21 to get those off. I don't know if I said that. And the other thing you will need that I just went in there to get and forgot is you will need grease, because you will need to re-grease these sliders. And then also on top of that, I always put a little bit anywhere metal touches metal to keep noise down. So I'll go grab some grease and we'll continue. So I have soaked everything with liquid wrench penetrating oil. If you're only going to do pads, you just worry about these two bolts. If you're going to do rotors, you do those two. And they will be you have what appears to be, let me make sure. Yep. For the pads only, it's 14. There's one there, one there. And for the rotor, it's probably going to be a 19 or a 21. It's a 19, and those will be there, and then right there. Okay. You can remove it all as one assembly, but I like taking it apart. I feel like it's easier to take apart and put back together with the pads whenever you disassemble everything. So I'm going to knock these out. I'll get all this hardware out, the pads out. So these pads, they aren't, I'm not going to say they're not bad. Yes, they need to be changed, but I have seen a lot worse. And when we get to the other side, you will understand what a lot worse looks like. But I got them out, and what's weird here, screamer bar. I think what has happened here, I don't know, is that potentially, do these have, yes, normally, most brake pads I do only have a screamer bar. Most brake pads only have a screamer bar on one set, so you would have like this set with them. The outsides normally don't have them. So I thought somebody installed these wrong, but I guess they have. So what you'll need to pay attention to is screamer bars always go down. I have never installed one up here. I'm sure somewhere I'm wrong, that there is some car that does it, but I always put them down like that, okay? Another recommendation I'm going to give you is, even if you are on a budget, if you can pay $2 or $3 more to get the better ceramic pad, do it. The cheapest pads were $29.99. These are the O'Reilly Select Ceramic Gold. They were $36. It was like, I did the math, and it was like $7.14 more to get the better pads. They'll last longer, they stop better, they're quieter, etc., etc. Plus, the better pads come with the hardware. The cheaper ones did not. So to me, it is worth the extra money. I recommend you get the better pads. So if you want to replace this hardware, mine came with new hardware, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Just get a flat head, kind of go up and under, and then it will just, should just kind of work your way around, and it will pop out. Same thing on top, just work your way around. I always start on here, and then kind of just go back, and go back, and it will just pop out like that. Okay, that's done. I will pull out these sliders, try and pull them out and leave the boot attached to the caliper. I'm also going to grab a paper towel so that I can get all the old grease off, because that looks nasty. So I'll go grab some grease and some shop towels. So I got the slide bolts out. Notice they are different. This is the top one, this is the bottom one. Some people say it makes a difference if you put them back in the same. I don't know if it does or not. This one has a little rubber boot, so just remember that's on the bottom. As you can see, I wiped them off. So what we're going to do now, I will take my synthetic ultra parts lube. You can buy it in a tube, you can buy it in a like tub, or you can buy those little job packs, however you want to do it. Okay, so what we're going to do, take a little bit and just spread it out. Don't gob it on, because a lot of it's going to come off on the boot. Okay, just get a good easy spread. Okay, now what I do is I put a blob on the bottom. That way when it goes in, that will hit and spread out. So then you put it back in. And make sure when you put it in, there's a lip here that this boot goes over on that piece. And what I do is I will take it and push it in, give it a twist like that. That way you get that grease in there all spread around, and then I'll take my shop towel, wipe off the extra. That way you don't take a chance of getting it on the pad or on the rotor. Now we'll do the same for the bottom. So what I did was I took my finger and just a little bit of grease. As you can see, I put a little bit everywhere metal will touch metal. Okay, so pay attention. There is a top one and a bottom one. As you can see, they have these little tabs. What those tabs are for is those tabs go in like such. Let me get this in here. Those tabs will go in here. I don't know what that does. That's what they do. That was, they hook into the screamer bar. Okay, so we'll get this hooked in. So that means make sure screamer bars go on the bottom. Okay, so I'll get that hooked in right there. So what I'm going to try and do is get it hooked and then put the pad back in. It's pretty simple. Hook it like that, put it in, and then just push it in like such. Okay, that's all it does. Okay, once you get your caliper on, it will compress it and hold it in. So we'll do the same on the inside. I'll compress the caliper, and then we'll put it on. This side will be done. So to compress the caliper, you can use a C-clamp and your old thing. I saw somebody the other day using a locking gun. I have an actual caliper tool. It's hard to do this. I'll show you this. And it just ratchets. And as you can see, it just pushes it back in. I prefer doing the caliper tool. If the caliper is like almost all the way out, the caliper tool won't fit, so you'll have to go to a C-clamp and a pad. Okay, so I'll get this compressed, we'll put that back over, we'll be done. Got everything back together. Pads are in, buttman clips are in, I clipped those. I did hit everything with a heavy dose of brake parts cleaner. Make sure when you're putting these together, these line up. There is like, they're slotted, the caliper's slotted, and these have flat places that rides against. Just make sure it's lined up. I will get these bolted back down, and we'll jam over to the other side. The other side's going to be a treat. Using my expert powers of deduction here, based on the fact that there's this big chunky groove missing and that screamer bar is broken off, and the fact that also I can just basically move that pad around in there because it's all the way out of the guide here. This side's probably bad. So I went to pull the 219s off, and I had to go get my jack handle and a different ratchet because I had to come out here and jump on them to get them loose because they were so tight. I think these pads are done. I think those pads have been incredibly hot and are done. And I think this rotor's done. Yep, so we'll get this changed. Once you get this bracket off, I got lucky and the rotor came loose, but if it does not, you can take a mallet and just kind of tap it. If it doesn't, you can take penetrator or WD-40 and spray in these holes, and that will get in there and break up that surface rust. You can smack the front of it with a mallet too. It'll bust up the tension in there and the corrosion, and just give it a good few whacks and it should just pop right off. So, got it off. Next step, I will go, and there'll be a new rotor on it. So what I'm going to do is, I picked it up, put it with some brake dust, wipe it down. I'll put this bracket back on, reinstall the new hardware, new pads, throw the wheels on. This will be done. This is like an hour job. I'm going to recommend to her that she replaces that rotor on the other side, so I'll probably do that next week. New rotor is on. This was very easy because there's no set screws, so it just came right off. Don't have to put it back on. Got the caliper compressed, got the pads on, got them clipped in, got everything greased. Going to slide this back over. Put the 19s in with my impact. Didn't like hammer man, just zzz, zzz, and then went back and super snugged them down. With this guy, I'm going to put that on. Put those 2 bolts in wherever they're laying. Put the 2 14s in where they were laying, greased everything. Then we'll put it back on the ground. These 2 bolts, yeah, I found them. And then we'll drive it and I'll show you how to seat these in. Everything is back together. One bit of advice, when you do brakes on your car, before you take off and drive anywhere, get in the car and pump the brakes until you get pedal feel back. Because you've compressed those calipers all the way in, so they have to come out, do their thing. Give them the clamps, okay? If you go to just get in and jam it in reverse and back up, it'll have to go all the way in and you might crash. I've almost done it. So what I'm going to show you how to do now is how to seat your brakes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to back up real nice and slow. Ooh, them's way better. Okay? We'll go down to the end of the road. This is a good thing about living in a neighborhood. I torque my wheels. When I get back, I'll re-torque them again. So, what we'll do here is I will go down to the end of the block. Stop. Okay? And what they recommend you do is you get up to about 30 miles an hour. You come to an easy stop. Like not a full stop, just a real gentle, easy stop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull over. I'm going to come to a full stop and let this guy behind me go by. Okay, there's one. I always recommend doing this like 4 or 5 times, okay? Get it up to about 30. And then come to a gentle, easy stop. Kind of almost just let the brakes drag a little. Okay, get down to low, and go again. We'll go to this stop sign. Okay, we'll come to a stop. Okay, they already feel much better. Okay, some manufacturers like Power Stop tells you to do this 30 times. That's like a whole day of driving, okay? Okay, and once you've done a few 30s, get up to about 40. Okay, basically I'm just going to square the block. Get up to about 40. Gentle, easy, roll and stop. Let this guy come on. Come on, bro. Why are you stopped? Okay, thank you. Go to here. Easy stop. We'll pull up here to the end of my road. No noise, no clunking. I will pull back in here. I will retorque my wheels. Ooh, I can smell them brakes. Nice new brakes. Close the hood on the Maxima. I'll retorque these. And we're done. This was a good, easy, quick job. You could do both sides in an hour if you were hustling, but I had to stop shoot video. So if this video helped you, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me keep making these videos and bringing them to you. Thank you.